Justin Fields' Steelers debut did not go well.
Loss of 4 yards right there. You see the center snap exchange and Justin Fields, and Mike Tomlin doesn't like to see that at all.
NFL pundits had assured us that Russell Wilson was in jeopardy of losing his job.
If I'm Russ, I'm sitting there going, man, I got to get my behind on this field quick.
It has been an impressive couple weeks for Justin Fields. It feels to me that it's a little more open than maybe it was a couple weeks ago.
He's going to start week 1. He's going to be an opening day starter.
But now everything has changed after the Steelers' first preseason game against the Houston Texans. Let's break down the Steelers' quarterback competition. In the 2024 offseason, it looked like the Pittsburgh Steelers lucked out, grabbing quarterback Russell Wilson on a 1-year, $1 million contract.
What's up, Steeler Nation? Just signed, baby. Fired up to wear the black and gold. Here we go.
The reason why they got this bargain is because the Denver Broncos and head coach Sean Payton kick Russell Wilson to the curb, despite the fact that they would have to pay off the rest of his big, massive contract that he signed with the Broncos in 2022. It seemed like that would be the only big quarterback move that the Steelers would make until later on in free agency. They shocked everybody by trading for Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears. The former first-round pick quarterback Justin Fields was leaving the Bears because they were set to select quarterback Caleb Williams with the #1 overall pick, and they did. Rumors had it that the Chicago Bears granted Justin Fields wishes. Pittsburgh was his favorite destination and where he wanted to go. Many people thought this was odd at the time because Russell Wilson had already signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers before Justin Fields was traded there. He knew he would have to compete with Russ. Going into the rest of the offseason, most people assumed that Russell Wilson would be the starting quarterback, and that is because head coach Mike Tomlin told the media that Russell Wilson is QB1 right now and has pole position. Pole position means that it could change, but right now he's QB1. However, around OTAs, Justin Fields made an odd comment that in retrospect, we should have taken a lot more seriously.
I'm definitely, competing. I think, Russ knows that. I definitely don't have the mindset of, me just, sitting all year.
Fields is saying that he does not have the mindset of sitting all year. This is coupled with the fact that he wanted to go to the Steelers even though he knew Russell Wilson was going to be there. And at this moment, nobody thought that was a huge deal, but it really showed that he was pushing for a QB competition. Later on in the offseason, in late July, at the start of training camp, this is when everything completely changed. The NFL world was shocked to learn that Russell Wilson would be unavailable for the first day of training camp due to a calf injury, and in this moment, Justin Fields ended up taking all the first team reps. Now, most people thought this was not a big deal because the word on the calf injury was that it was a minor injury and day-to-day. However, Russell Wilson ended up missing several practices and was limited for at least 2 weeks. During this time, Justin Fields started getting all the first team reps and performing really well, impressing fans, teammates, and coaches at camp. While Justin Fields capitalized on these reps, you even saw teammates like Patrick Queen, the former Baltimore Ravens linebacker who is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, retweeting some odd tweets. He retweeted his old tweet from 2021, which says, "I can't wait for Justin Fields to ball on all the haters, LOL," and he put a little look emoji here. This just shows how other teammates on the defensive side of the football were excited about what Justin Fields was doing at training camp. What is also crazy is around this time you had NFL insiders like Adam Schefter saying that Fields has opened some eyes among the coaches.
Russell Wilson remains in the pole position, but I also think that Justin Fields has opened some eyes and they see the type of offense they could have. And we know how this staff has felt about Justin Fields in the past.
And another NFL insider, Ian Rappaport, has said that the QB competition is more open than we thought.
It has been an impressive couple weeks for Justin Fields, and it is obvious Russell Wilson came into this camp in pole position. It feels to me, just to me, that it's a little more open than maybe it was a couple weeks ago.
Now, since Russell Wilson has returned from the injury, he has been getting some first-team reps, but Justin Fields has still been splitting some first-team reps as well. Head coach Mike Tomlin in early August was asked about the QB competition and maintained that Russell Wilson has pole position.
I've characterized it as pole position for Russell. We just pay respect to the totality of his resume and his experience.
But then right before the first game against the Houston Texans, Mike Tomlin completely changed his tune.
Very much is a competition. What happens in stadium is weighted heavier than what happens in a practice setting because it's more game-like.
View Russell is having that pole position and being ahead of Justin in that.
You guys saw the depth chart that I released yesterday. That is real.
He talked about Russell Wilson being QB1 on the depth chart and how that means something, but he also maintained that it is a competition. And the key thing that Mike Tomlin said in this moment is that live game reps matter more than practice. Okay, that makes sense, but Russell Wilson was not cleared by the head coach to play in the first preseason game. And Russell Wilson even said to the media that he would like to play in the first preseason game.
Is it your intent or desire to play in the preseason?
Yeah, always. I always want to play. I mean, I think anytime you get the strap on the pads, it's a blessing right now.
Instead, Mike Tomlin, the head coach, announced to the media that quarterback Justin Fields would get the nod to get the first team reps in preseason. And this is kind of crazy because he's saying that live game preseason reps matter more than practice, but he's not clearing Russell Wilson to play. He's being cautious with him supposedly, and he is clearing Justin Fields to play. All of this noise in the air right before the game led to other NFL analysts like Louis Riddick of ESPN saying that they believe Justin Fields will beat out Russell Wilson and become the starter for the regular season in week 1.
If Justin can continue to ascend like he is looking in practice, he's going to start week 1. He's going to be an opening day starter.
So even though Russell Wilson has had pole position this entire time, the injuries, the ascendance of Justin Fields, and the preseason lineup, the fact that Russell Wilson is not allowed to play in preseason stacked everything in favor of Justin Fields. However, instead, everything would go in Russell Wilson's favor despite the fact that he did not have to lift a finger in this preseason game against the Houston Texans. Justin Fields took to the field and did look good. He was able to go 5 of 6 and complete some short passes, but he also showed some issues that have been going on for his entire career. The fact that he holds on to the ball too long and takes some critical sacks, and we saw this again in this preseason matchup against the Texans. But the big kicker was the turnovers, the fact that Justin Fields and his center could not communicate well, and we saw 2 muff snaps leading to fumbles. This completely stalled out one drive as they lost yards, and even though Fields had 3 drives played for a quarter and a little bit more time, he still did not score any points as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now, I don't want to hate on the guy too much. There were moments when he made some big completions, and we did see his athleticism, him scrambling, gaining a few yards. But this was a big opportunity for Justin Fields. This was his moment when Russell Wilson was on the sideline, and if that guy would have gone out there and balled out, scored touchdowns, made huge plays in front of all the fans in Pittsburgh, he would have seriously made his case to be a starting quarterback, and he would have tipped the scale so far in his favor that it would have been hard for Russell Wilson to win the job back. But now, after this performance, and you saw Mike Tomlin look a little frustrated, we're not sure if the center snapping is all the center's fault or Fields' fault, but either way, we saw drives stall out, we saw Fields not be able to take advantage of the opportunity, and Russell Wilson will end up playing in the following preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. And if he goes out there and you just see the offense be smooth, not have many mistakes, and if he scores any points while he's in there, that's going to make the fans be like, okay, I'd rather have the veteran quarterback take control of the football and lead this team for the entire 2024 season. Steelers fans were so disappointed in this performance that some of them on Twitter are already calling for Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, to be fired, and also even Mike Tomlin. Obviously, that's not going to happen. The one thing benefiting Justin Fields here is his age. He is 25 years old, while Russell Wilson is 35 years old. And let's just say the Pittsburgh Steelers season isn't going well. They're not going to make the playoffs. And honestly, they got a really tough division going up against the Bengals and Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens, and also the Cleveland Browns with Deshaun Watson and that great defense. Russell Wilson being the week 1 starter doesn't mean he's going to be the starter for the entire season. And if you are going to re-sign a quarterback, unless Russell Wilson is dominating and they're competing for a championship, the Steelers are not going to invest heavily in a 35-year-old Russell Wilson. They are much more likely to invest in Justin Fields, someone who has more upside, who they could develop for years to come at age 25. Some pundits are still defending Justin Fields, saying that he could be the week 1 starter, but I think that's sort of unfair unfair because if he would have done well, if he would have scored points, those same people would be pounding the table saying, oh, he's definitely going to be the week 1 starter. He's so great. He's so much better than Russell Wilson. But instead, it was disappointing. Multiple sacks, 0 points. So I think you got to be honest here and say it's still Russell Wilson's team. We'll see what happens in week 2 against the Buffalo Bills. My name is Wi-Fi Willie. Subscribe to me for more NFL content. Peace out. And I hope you